Come on in. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about 5 times Survivor players helped or tried to help their competition in challenges. Throughout Survivor history, there have been a handful of instances where players straight up assisted one another in a challenge, typically with the common goal of beating a larger threat. And with this somewhat controversially happening in the finale of Survivor 46, I thought it would be fun to take a look back at the other times this has happened throughout Survivor history. We'll be going roughly in order of how famous or infamous the challenge help is, and we'll be covering everything from tribal challenges to individual immunity challenges, and even Redemption Island duels. So drop your stack of tiles, hit the gritty, and meet me at Applebee's as we take a look at 5 times Survivor players helped or tried to help each other in challenges. At number 5 is Laura helping Tina in the Redemption Island duel to beat Vetus in Survivor Blood vs. Water. I believe that this is the first instance of actual successful challenge collaboration that made air. Tina, Laura, and Vetus were all out of the game, but living on Redemption Island, where they'd compete in a 3-way duel every few days, with the top 2 players moving on with a chance to later re-enter the game. With their daughters aligned in the game proper, and as 2 of the older players on the season, Tina and Laura had a vested interest in working together and going as far as possible with one another on Redemption Island. And in their second duel, Laura inks their Losers Lodge alliance in blood. Or blocks. In a challenge every toddler is familiar with, the players have to move 4 multicolored blocks through a rope bridge, then stack them in a way that one color isn't visible more than once on each side. Wow, they really don't think much of the players on Redemption Island, do they? Playing with colored blocks? What's next? Count to 100? Oh my god, they did that too! As an adult who's no longer 6 years old, Laura crushes the challenge quite easily, and once Tina gets her pieces through the rope bridge, Laura actually tells Tina where and how to place each piece, blatantly helping her and eliminating Vetus in the process. Tina would later go on to re-enter the game from Redemption Island, so she has Laura to thank. Anyway, that's step 1 of Tina's grandchild master plan down. Now, anyone want to vote my daughter out so we can send her to Ponderosa too, so she and Vetus can make babies?
One can dream. I'm ready for grandbabies.
At number 4 is when the Vessi tribe helped Baka complete a puzzle in Survivor 43. People tend to forget that Coco was the tribe to beat in Survivor 43, and that they completely dominated the first 3 episodes. I know, it's hard to believe. Gio's on this tribe. By episode 4, Baka had lost 1 member, Vessi had lost 2, and Coco was starting to run away with the game. The 4th immunity challenge is a close one, with Baka and Vessi reaching the second puzzle portion of the challenge at roughly the same time, with Coco behind. But this is the kind of puzzle where you can't really make any progress. You either just solve it or you don't. So once they reach the puzzle portion, Coco's formally closed the gap. Once Vessi assembles their puzzle and earns immunity, Dwight Michelle's that thing so that no one can sneak a peek at it. And with both Baka and Vessi wanting Coco to go to tribal council, Noelle starts instructing Baka on how to solve the puzzle, which, considering it only has 4 pieces, goes pretty quickly. Baka and Vessi successfully send Coco to their first tribal council right here, which honestly was probably a blessing for everyone on this tribe not named Lindsay, because you never want to be the tribe that enters the merge with all your members intact in a 3-tribe season. The other 2 tribes will be incentivized to team up against you. You know, I bet as a tribe full of Survivor superfans, they all know that.
They're uniting together as the losers. We haven't lost yet, and so they're trying to just knock us down off of our pedestal.
See? No sour grapes here. At number 3 is Adam helping Ken at the Final 7 Immunity Challenge in Survivor Millennials versus Gen X. Remember the massive pinball challenge used in the final immunity of Survivor 46? This is its little brother. It's simple. Roll your ball up, rush to work on a puzzle, and catch your ball before it drops down a chute, incurring a massive time penalty, and then do it all again. Ken destroys this challenge and completes the puzzle early, but unfortunately, he's not on Survivor Mayawalens versus Gen X. He's on Survivor Millennials versus Gen X. Adam at this point wants to keep immunity out of Jay's hands, so he begins largely ignoring his own puzzle and begins working with Ken, telling him when to come back to retrieve his ball, and also presumably reminding him how to spell, which helps Ken clinch immunity right here. Chris did something similar to this at the final 6 immunity of Survivor Edge of Extinction, vocally helping Julie with her hand placement when inserting a low puzzle piece she overlooked while building her puzzle, helping her keep it flush and stopping it from toppling over as she forces the piece in, leading to her also winning immunity. In both situations, I think Ken and Julie would have won immunity regardless of the help they received. Julie was one puzzle piece away, and Ken wasn't even in the right language, but he probably would have gotten there eventually. Still, in a game as volatile as Survivor, where targets can change on a dime, helping another player win immunity is very risky and rarely a good move. Unless your competition is just going to play their idol on you for literally no reason later that evening. Then I guess it is probably actually a good move. At number 2 is Sophie demanding Albert help her with her block stack at the Final 5 Immunity Challenge in Survivor South Pacific. When Ozzy returned from Redemption Island for the second time and upgraded the Final 4 to a Final 5, the 4 remaining members of Upolu had one goal: beat Ozzy. With a bitter jury made up almost entirely of Ozzy's allies, Ozzy would sweep Final Tribal Council, and everyone knew it. The Final 5 immunity is the classic block stacking challenge, where players have to stack rectangular wooden blocks one at a time on a board, balanced with their other hand. They must build their stack tall enough to reach the finish mark. This was a do or die challenge for Ozzy, and towards the end, it's a race between him and Sophie to the top. But when she's nearly at the finish line, Sophie drops half her stack, many of them on the ground, rendering this challenge unwinnable for her unless she completely drops her stack and starts over, almost certainly giving Ozzy the win. In the moment, she comes up with a novel approach to recover her lead. Just make Albert do it.
Hey, Albert, drop your stack and come pick up my pieces.
I'm in a pretty decent spot right now. Hold on.
Drop your damn stack and pick up my pieces. I'm gonna beat you.
I gotta. All right,
Albert, just drop your stack.
Wow, and she's the likable one in this alliance. Because Jeff disallowed Albert helping Sophie, Ozzy wins immunity and plays spoiler to this alliance's plans to go to the end together. But Sophie later beats Ozzy at the Final 4 immunity anyway, ending Ozzy's South Pacific run one round shy of Final Tribal. No thanks to Albert. For a long time, this was the precedent: that verbal help is fair game, but you can't physically help another player in a challenge. That was until... At number 1, our most recent and most famous time a player helped another player in a challenge is Liz helping Kenzie in the Final 5 Combined Reward and Immunity Challenge of Survivor 46. At the Final 5 of Survivor 46, Maria was target number 1. Kenzie, Charlie, Ben, and Liz had a Final 4 alliance, and Maria's life in the game was dependent on pulling off an immunity streak to get to the end after her failed hit on Charlie the round prior. And if Survivor hadn't pulled a fast one on the players at the Final 5 challenge, Maria potentially wins her way to the end. M. Night Shyamalan must have directed this challenge, because this challenge has a twist. This is your standard obstacle race into puzzle, except the puzzle contains a twist when solved. Players must race back through the obstacle to count holes in a plank used earlier to unlock a combination lock. Kenzie's ahead in the challenge, but heading back to retrieve that plank will take up a massive amount of time, and let's just send Liz to do it. Liz does what Albert could not and runs all the way back to retrieve Kenzie's plank and then helps her add up all the items to solve the combination lock, which Kenzie does, sealing Maria's fate. Much has been made of this in recent weeks. Did Liz and Kenzie cheat when Liz crossed her barrier to retrieve Kenzie's puzzle piece? Is it cheating for one player to physically assist another? The answer is legally no. Someone from Standards and Practices is at every challenge to ensure fair game, so this was legal in both the game sense and the legal sense. However, it sounds like there was clarification in the next challenge making clear that collaboration to this extent is not allowed, and I'm fine with this being a one-off. Allowing players to help in such an overt way only opens the door to players working together to ensure underdogs don't win immunity. And where's the line? If Liz can help Kenzie, can Charlie and Ben also pitch in and help Kenzie? You could theoretically have a 4-on-1. Best not to open that can of worms, and I doubt we'll see such clear challenge collaboration in the near future. Either way, we do have to give props to Kenzie. Not only for a clutch challenge win, but pretty funny to not take Liz on the reward when she literally won it for you. Got nothing else for ya. If you want to help me out more than Liz getting Kenzie's plank, like and subscribe, and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.